on what's happening as far as the Ladakh standoff between the two armies are concerned. We showed you the Chinese mobilization near the line of actual control. Now India Today's Ankit Kumar has accessed fresh satellite images that depict an even larger mobilization that explains the thousands of troops that you've been hearing about deployed in the Ladakh area and ready for whatever eventuality. This is an India Today exclusive. Prepare for war, be battle ready. That was the ominous message from China's Premier Xi Jinping yesterday to the People's Liberation Army at the National People's Congress in Beijing. A powerful nation cornered by the COVID-19 pandemic, issuing a very public threat to the world. And today we're going to show you why Xi Jinping's words may not just be rhetoric. This week, remember, we showed you the Ladakh standoff before anyone else. We showed you precisely where the Chinese force build-up is happening. From the Galwan Valley to the Pangong Lake. And now, for part 4 of India Today's agenda-setting reporting on the army standoff with China. The scene of the action is the Ladakh we know, from the Galwan River Valley to the Pangong Lake. Now train your focus to the Aksai Chin region, the part of Ladakh that has been occupied by China since the 1962 war. Brand new images indicate large Chinese military movements along the road near the line of actual control in Chinese-controlled Aksai Chin. These could be the first images of that deployment in thousands by the Chinese, as first reported by India Today. Now take a look at this image from as recently as the 14th of May. It shows moving structures 30 to 50 meters long, a possible military convoy. The images also show visible changes on the ground, possibly caused by these large-scale movements. The road you're looking at is just 2 kilometers from the nearest border point. The road itself constructed only in 2018. The image suggests convoys are beefing up Chinese forces in Aksai Chin, with trucks much larger than the ones that have already entered the Galwan region that we showed you earlier this week. Now look at this comparison of images across 10 days, from May 14th till 24th. New structures clearly visible, which could be large Chinese troops or logistics movements. These new images appear to be in sync with the simmering face-off between Indian and Chinese troops in the Galwan Valley and the Pangong Lake, establishing that while China builds up forces right on the border, it's creating a massive force right behind the front lines. With Ankit Kumar in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today. And I want to bring in our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan and our Senior Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant for more on this. Gaurav, the big breaking story on the back of that India Today exclusive and the agenda-setting news breaks that we've put together this entire week. Now the big breaking story is that President Donald Trump has explicitly offered to arbitrate or mediate between India and China. What are you hearing? Early minutes yet, Gaurav. I'm sure the Indian Foreign Office will be formulating some kind of response. It obviously cannot be ignored or just left hanging like that. What are you hearing, Gaurav, about this offer from Trump?
Shiv, we are waiting to hear officially from government sources. This has just come in. Donald Trump has just tweeted 2 words, very interesting: mediate and arbitrate, on something as sensitive and nuanced as India-China relations. It's such a complex relationship. And from what officials we've been speaking to, of course, strictly off the record, and also analysts on the situation, they seem to indicate that 2 of the oldest civilizations of the world, India and China, are in a situation that we can handle these any eventuality ourselves. Remember Doklam in 2017, India and China at military level, diplomatic level and political level handled the situation themselves, did not require any outside assistance, except of course for India.
Yes.
Intelligence, as you and I know well, Shiv, whether it was satellite imagery or other help that came from the United States of America. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chinese President Xi Jinping, when they met at Wuhan, subsequently when they met at Mamallapuram, at Mahabalipuram, these are two relationships and very complex relationships that India and China, from what I've been picking up through analysts, is that we'll handle this ourselves. America, of course, is most welcome to help dial down tensions.
Geeta, do we have any kind of a sense of when the Indian government will comment on this? This is easily the biggest story, as far as security is concerned in the country and if possible the continent as well. And you've got the President of the United States, the world's most powerful man in many ways, saying that he wants to mediate on this raging border dispute. Any indications you can give us, Geeta, of when and if the Indian government will be adding to this?
Well, Shiv, I can tell you one thing, that this must have, the entire administration must have been taken by surprise with the tweet of President Donald Trump. It's not a set template like it used to be. Well-calibrated decisions after taking advice from their own foreign policy advisors, and then deciding on a plan as to why is it that the United States of America wants to arbitrate or mediate on a matter such as the India-China border issue, the boundary question, and a very sensitive one at that, where they do not even have the historical background, so to say, to deal with something as complicated and complex as the India-China border. Having said that, government has not come out with any reaction. Ministry of External Affairs still looking at the tweet, and most probably now will be formulating an answer to the offer made by President Trump. Shiv, this is not the first time that he's done it. He's done it with the issue of Kashmir, and now we're looking at it over here as well. For me, it's a larger plan that Trump has personally. It's to his domestic constituency, looking at the Nobel Peace Prize, being the peacemaker, but nothing that is of strategic significance apart from the fact that yes, this is a U.S.-China war, wherein any opportunity that Trump gets to rile China, he's picking that opportunity up. And in this case, looking at the huge, one of the biggest border skirmishes that we've seen in between India and China, he's lapped onto this opportunity as well.
Okay, thanks. Geeta and Gaurav, stay with me for just a little while longer, because we've got some more breaking news coming in. But before that, I also want to tell you that President Trump's offer comes just a few hours after the Prime Minister of India has had a top-level briefing on the India-China standoff. Like Geeta very rightly said, the Indian system is likely to have been caught a little off guard by this offer by Trump to mediate. But the Indian government and the Indian security establishment is fully plugged in and has just held a very extensive strategy briefing with Prime Minister Modi in attendance. Take a look at what has happened over the last 24 hours. They're very crucial to what I'm going to be breaking right after that. Stay with this. 23 days into the India-China standoff in eastern Ladakh, the Narendra Modi government has conducted its most detailed strategy meetings. Over the last 24 hours, the country's top leadership has mounted the most crucial series of discussions on resolving India's most serious military face-off since Doklam. Things kicked off today with the Army Commanders Conference, where Army Chief General Manoj Naravane, recently returned from Ladakh, will hold a detailed 3-day review of the Ladakh standoff. General Naravane has spent the last 24 hours in a series of meetings, first with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and then with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. India's Ladakh strategy is simple and will fuel India's continuing defence of its territory. The first signal is that India will not stop infrastructure and road building in Ladakh. The perceived trigger for the current standoff aside, India will not be deterred from development work.
They would like to divert attention. They would also like to divert attention from South China Sea. They would like to divert attention from all the trade problems that they're having.
And this is not going to affect our road construction in that area or anywhere?
No. It is not going to affect road construction. It is not going to affect the way we are deployed. It is not going to affect anything at all.
The second signal is that the army will hold its ground and deploy all force numbers necessary to defend and deter Chinese aggression.
It is true that the border events indicate are clearly betray a renewed aggression on the Chinese side. I do admit it is a fact. While border clashes are normal, there is a greater aggression in the last incidents in last couple of weeks.
The third crucial signal is that India is fully committed to resolving the standoff through talks at various levels. But commitment to peaceful talks doesn't mean the military doesn't have 100% political backing on the ground.
Our aim is to defend our territory and sovereignty. Indian Army is a professional army, it will be able to do that. But notwithstanding that, we don't want to escalate the issue, we want to find a peaceful resolution to this.
A top-level briefing outlining outcomes and scenarios was also discussed with the Prime Minister yesterday, with the Army Chief bringing his commanders up to speed today.
The biannual Army Commanders Conference was supposed to take place in April but got postponed due to the COVID-19 lockdown. And now this meet is taking place at a time when there are confrontations with China. Even though that's not the only thing on the agenda, but operations at the line of actual control will definitely be part of the discussion.
23 days and counting, can the Modi government calm tensions and bring the Ladakh situation back to normal? With Manjeet Negi and Abhishek Bhalla in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today. Only 3 members of the ruling dispensation, including 2 ministers, have so far spoken on record about the Ladakh standoff. And what they're saying becomes even more important in light of what President Trump has just broken upon this entire situation. Take a look at the 3 voices, all of them first here on India Today.
We are having difficulties, yet thanks to the mature and visionary leadership of India, Prime Minister Modi, our idea is that if we can create enough, create a kind of a coalition and alliance of countries in the Indo-Pacific region, that would come forward to take the responsibility for freedom of navigation, peace in the region.
भारत की सेनाएं हर चीज के ऊपर ठीक तरह से निगरानी रखे हुए हैं, ठीक तरीके से एक प्रणाली बनी हुई है और हमारे पास एक बड़ा अच्छा नेतृत्व है मोदी जी के माध्यम से, जो कि हर चीज को सूझबूझ से भारत की छवि को ध्यान में रखते हुए करने को हमेशा तैयार है। तो मैं मानकर चलता हूं कि ये भयभीत और भय फैलाने वाली स्थिति नहीं है।
नरेंद्र मोदी के भारत को कोई भी आंख नहीं दिखा सकता। फिर कहूंगा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के भारत को कोई आंख नहीं दिखा सकता।
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.